Welcome to the Money Pig podcast, presented by Goodwin Investment Advisory, where our mission is to lead you to financial pig, peace, independence, and generosity. I'm your host, Tim Goodwin. And welcome back to the Money Pig podcast. We are super excited today to have the one, the only Chris Brazelton. How you doing, Chris?
Tim, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
We are super excited to have you. So I know who you are, but I will read a quick little bio we have on you for the rest of our guests that don't. So Chris, he is the executive director of the Woodstock Arts. And if you've known us for long, you know that we are located in Woodstock, Georgia. So we're big fans of Chris and the Woodstock Arts. Chris is a creative visionary, leading Woodstock Arts in Woodstock, Georgia, with over a decade of impact. He's transformed local arts into a movement of connection and creativity, from theater to concerts to the beloved Reeves House Visual Arts Center, one of our faves. A proud FSU grad with a background in theater, Chris lives in Woodstock with his wife, Morgan, and their 3 kids, Nathan, Noah, and Blakely, and their 2 dogs, Tally and Fisher.
Can't forget the dogs.
Can't forget the dogs. Man, dogs are like family, man. They're so great. Just always happy to see you. I love my dogs. So, Chris, tell us, let's get started. Tell us something that maybe the audience doesn't know about you, something interesting.
Doesn't know. Well, I keep this in the 2 truths and a lie.
Oh, wow. You're already going to let that
pocket.
out? I have like an Apple note of what I could use.
What you could use. I know.
Yes, I don't have to stress that.
Honestly, mine are usually pretty, because they're so specific. But I have won a whopping $650 from season 1 of Cash Cab.
You won it?
Yeah.
And that's true, or is that a lie?
No, that's the truth.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You didn't realize that you were getting in the Cash Cab?
No, it was season 1. I mean, they actually kicked us out of, this is like, don't tell anyone. But they actually kicked us out of the cab and brought us back in for another take, because it was season 1. We had no idea what was going on. So our responses were like, what is this? What did I just get into?
Like, so, that's not a good answer for Hollywood, Mr. Chris.
That's right.
We need a little more drama.
Yeah. So no.
Wow. And you won $650.
It was, it was fun.
Wow.
Yeah,
so that covered one meal in New York City.
We attempted to go back to New York, but I don't think it covered the cost.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
You pull that episode up on Netflix or something?
You can try. Fun. We can't go. This is a way too long story, but I actually looked foolish throughout the entire episode. Yeah.
So you don't want
longer story for later. Crazy wild thing, but yeah, you can try to look for it, but I try not to let people see
that is absolutely hysterical. Wow, that is so great. Speaking of great food, did you hear that there is now a restaurant on the moon?
Is there?
Yeah, great food, but no atmosphere.
Oh man, the environment, it's killer.
Gosh. Sorry. It's just on brand. Got to get the dad joke out of the way. All right. I know that's why people came. Well, sorry. They came for you. The content. So Chris, let's dive into arts. And that's like very important to us here. So for you, what does art at the heart of community mean to you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know it's important to you guys. You guys are huge partners of ours. We're really grateful. Art at the heart of the community, I think, we'll say that, or honestly, it's even in our logo designs. You'll see a little pattern that's kind of like a pulse. Now, you don't want to see that pulse on an actual heart monitor, but it emulates that from the design.
Anyway.
Right, yeah, right. But it emulates that, and the hope behind that is that what we do, what is created is that pulse, is that sense of community that's driven from the arts. It's creating something unexpected. It radiates, it pulses out, but it's attracting in also. You start putting all of those things together, and then you put, art is what's causing that. I think that's where the heart of your community gets driven from. Yeah. It really builds that vibrant, thriving sense of place.
Well, like when you say the pulse, it just kind of makes me think like it makes this town come alive. Right. That's right. Like you can drive by a sleepy old town and it usually doesn't have a vibrant art culture or scene happening. Right. And now if you drive down through downtown Woodstock, you see very vibrant, art scene, and it's helping
you can't
city.
Avoid it.
Right.
Yeah. It's palpable.
So give some examples of like some of the art that is a part of Woodstock that kind of helps it to have this pulse to attract people, like to send the pulse out and attract people in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that we aim for in kind of creating that pulse is find something unexpected or create something unexpected, because I think those are the moments where everyone kind of like turns their head and goes, whoa, it's, and in a lot of ways that's maybe as straightforward as public art. And I think maybe not as aware as kind of just those moments. We had a show that kind of revolves around a theme of Post-it notes. We don't need to go into a huge degree of that, but it was, we started putting the big version of the Post-it notes at businesses around town and asked them questions. And then it became this participatory sense of art for just a few weeks. And then they all went down and went away, but it allowed people to kind of engage as well.
Right.
So it's just kind of one of those things that, it can radiate with a theme of something that we're doing, or it can be kind of that ever-present sense of public art or rotating public art where you see like, oh, that's cool, and that's just a part of what you're building, like the physical sense of the community as well.
And what, like if you think about Woodstock Arts and kind of overarching programs, you've got theater programs.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
And then you've got the art, which is the Reef's House that we're big sponsors of.
Yeah.
You've got music.
That's right. The Lantern series.
Yeah.
That's right.
What else?
And then we have a pretty robust education program.
Okay.
So visual arts education classes. I mean, we literally have for ages 4 to 94 available between our theater and our visual arts on classes and summer camps and workshops.
Awesome.
It can take. Yeah.
So I know they could do pottery.
That's right. And do pottery. It rotates out. So, improv for business is some of the classes that we, like learning some of the ins and outs, through the artistic medium of improv. From on the visual art side, acrylic, watercolor, oil, drawing. We have a calligraphy class. And then there's so many types of different ceramics and pottery that you can take. So on the wheel, hand building, functional hand building. I mean, there's so many different crafts, and I don't mean that in there's such a commitment to the craft all the way around. It's great.
So if you guys are listening and you're in Woodstock and any of that sounds interesting to you, which I'm sure it does, you need to get connected with Woodstock Arts and join one of these classes.
There's so many opportunities. I think we have 220 classes planned this year. And
that's a lot to oversee.
Those are like 6-week classes, right? This doesn't even count workshops, and then over 500 events on top of that. So actually,
and I think you shared this quote with me before. How many events? Did you guys do this year?
531 events planned this upcoming year. Wow. That doesn't count any of the classes.
Wow, like that averages like 10 a week.
Yeah, we have an amazing team.
How big is your team now?
All in all, if you count heads, it's about 25 on payroll now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
25 on payroll.
Yeah. 13 full time. And then, so it's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I do have other questions I was supposed to get to, and I will, but I actually am just going to keep diving into this because, just because of our relationship and our rapport. I know that you had shared with me that, that your success here with your team and the leadership and the strategy you guys are doing, making Woodstock Arts come alive, so to speak, is getting noticed by other towns.
That's right.
And so I've heard that other towns are reaching out going, hey, what are you doing? How do you do this? So you're really expanding more beyond just the pulse and attraction of the locals in Woodstock, but you guys are actually able to influence some arts programs.
Yeah, we're a firm believer that institutions like art centers are a steward of your community culture. And one of the things that we're really trying to honor with that is honor our own culture while empowering other communities to be able to do the same.
Come on.
So we probably, I think I've probably given somewhere between 10 and 20 tours in the last year of other places, of other people coming and just wanting to see how we operate, what's our model, how do we, and how can, and so we're trying to figure out ways of how is that replicable, I think that's speaks to maybe some of the greater vision. We really think that we're redefining how, arts exist in small towns, and we want to make sure that we can empower other communities to do the same.
Wow.
So
that's incredible. Yeah. Man, you're so inspiring just sharing that because, I know when it comes to experience, people are like, man, some of the best, the company that gives you the best experience out there is like Disney World.
Right,
like going and visiting Disney World to figure out that experience. And I mean, I think that's just incredible that people are going to you. Now I'm like, man, if I don't want to I obviously want to make an impact on our clients and our staff, our team here, but like to be able to make a dent and an impact on the industry. I think that's really incredible. All right. So we'll circle back to our questions.
Yeah,
I know you prepared
Yeah,
for.
no, it's fine. I love it.
Yeah. I just love the passion and what's going on there. But so you talked about the big sticky note project. What are some other things that Woodstock Arts has done to bring people together?
Yeah. So we have a staff value. We've got 6 staff values. One of them that I think is applicable to this is focus on the on-ramps. And we really try to take people that are either, if our mission, engage community with relevant art experiences every day, if our mission is that highway, we are trying to find people that are not on that highway and build an on-ramp so they can join us along the way. And so in many ways, I think a great example, you guys are big sponsors of the Reeves House, the presenting partner, not just big sponsors, the presenting partner. We do this show annually, Small Town, Small Works.
Oh, love it.
You have to be living within 15 miles, right, of the Reeves House to participate. And then Goodwin, you guys usually have an event or at the Reeves House.
That's
and when
right.
that happens, what we end up seeing, and we've seen this multiple times, is local artists connecting with new people under the umbrella of like, what does investment look like? And so many times in I think our cultural norm is almost like, no, when I'm thinking about investing, I'm thinking about money. I'm not thinking about art, right? And so you're getting 2 different groups of people and all of a sudden they're under the same roof at the same time. Tell me that doesn't build a vibrant community.
It's so cool.
And so
it's such a good match for us because it's like, it's local, it's fun, it's the arts. And then it's not even just like, well, who are these artists? Like, these are the artists that are right here in town with us. These are our neighbors and our friends. And then maybe clients buy the art, that provides income for some of the artists. And then obviously, really the biggest draw, Chris, to doing an event at the Reeves House is the fact that there's a bar there. So let's just be honest. It's nice to have a nice drink, nice first.
Yeah, so, but it's fun because I think the other ways that we bring people together with, we did a concert. We do hundreds of concerts at the Lantern series, and one of them early on we did a group called Soulsha, and the genre the way they defined themselves was Afro Celtic funk.
I remember that.
And it was literally bongos, I think like 12 instruments, like 12 people on a stage, all playing instruments that do not go together, led by a bagpipe. And so there's all different, some people are coming for the Celtic, some people are coming for the soul, some people are coming from the bongos, the Afro influence. And then you watch them at the end of the concert all getting up and dancing together.
So cool.
That's community building. Right?
That's cool.
That's connection.
That's
right?
Cool. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You're drawing like all these different people groups because of the different genres, and they can play all of them, and they all get to dance together and sing together. So building on that, like you're getting kind of neighbors and locals and friends together. What about families? Do you see this as a way that families are connecting with each other and doing stuff through the arts together?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so many people on my board of directors, they started as parents of people just participating in maybe some of our classes and whatnot, and then they fell in love themselves, and so the whole family together became that community, like that family commitment towards whatever art they might be attracted to. And I think sometimes in our mission, I said engaging community with relevant art experiences every day. And I think lately we've really been interrogating what relevance is from a community standpoint. We can talk about some of those big problems and what is our small role in that. And sometimes relevance is also, hey, I'm a dad of a 7-year-old and I'm just looking for a good conversation to have with my kid. And that relevance matters just as much as some of those big world problems. In fact, we'll probably solve some of those big world problems when we can solve some of those micro dialogue community building problems. So, we have Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but this is just an example. Like that's coming up in like next summer or something. We're going to have a car hanger, a mirror hanger of just like, hey, parents, here's some questions you can ask your kid after the show, right? Just practical, easy tools.
Wow.
You have a conversation with your kid, that's a today problem with all of the other media out there, right? So
and that's a way for people that are coming to the show, to keep the conversation going with their family. Right. Kind of like you were saying about having a conversation with your 7-year-old. Like I think about my girls are a bit older, right? So what if there are dads out there like me that are like, man, I really love that, to connect with my kids on something that we were both or all of us as a family doing something fun together. So like this idea of like signing up for improv classes together, come auditioning for one of your theater shows, or coming to one of the music lantern concert series, and we're gonna grab a table and we're all gonna go together, or let's all do pottery classes together. Like that's a really great way for families to get away from the screen.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
and act or listen to music or actually create, some
it just breaks
learning.
down barriers and or pulls back curtains is maybe more appropriate for stage, right? But like really kind of just again builds that kind of bare bones. Hey, here's who I am as a dad. Here's who you are as a kid. Where, how does that connection? I mean, it's also just too rare today. So
that's cool. Yeah, I never really thought about like, hey, I want to connect with my kids. Let's go do something through the Woodstock Arts program together. So that I think that's a really, really good thing that I hope people are hearing. As far as partnerships, like you mentioned that we are, a loyal partner of Woodstock Arts. What does that do? What are the partnerships? If there's another business partner or maybe a family that's listening, it's like, man, this Woodstock Arts thing sounds great. Chris sounds like a great leader. He is, y'all. And I want to support his efforts. Why would they do that? Why would they come provide partnership and additional like what?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's always there's an intersection of we're going to partner because of interest, or we're going to partner because of need. And in terms of accessibility, we've got all sorts of programs that allow you to access art based off of need. Because we're biased, but we can be biased and correct. That we think that everyone should have access to arts, in their own community. And so we'll partner with certain programs with CCSD, so that hey, if you're on some sort of assistance program, we go through the teacher, we don't even know, no questions asked, you can come and participate also, right? Or we're partnering with Georgia Kids Belong. And so a lot of those families, respite families, foster families, they get to be able to come and participate at low or no cost, no questions asked, just from breaking down those barriers. And I think that helps bring everyone together, right? But I think there's also the focus on like where partnerships can help solve problems. And I think arts are a fantastic, unique way to do that. There's I would say things that we have done would be like, I had mentioned foster kids from a need standpoint, but from an interest standpoint, I think a few years back, we were really hurting as a county for more respite parents to help fill in the gaps for when we need that. And so when we did Wizard of Oz, we actually did a No Place Like Home drive and partnered with a lot of the foster agencies around the community. And after every Wizard of Oz show, held a talk back, said, we're going to do this, come and we're going to hear from one of the agencies about what a respite parent might be able to do, because there was such a need for that. There was such a specific need for that role. And it ended up that need spiked throughout, and I think those partnerships really can help. Same thing with, we did a show years ago called Next to Normal, had to do with mental health. One of the moms in the show ends up going through shock therapy. And so we actually had somebody who had been through shock therapy, a different person, stay after the show and do a presentation after the show, just talk back for questions and answers. And we partnered with NAMI as far as partnerships, not National Alliance on Mental Illness. And they came back and reported such a huge spike in volunteerism around mental health in the county following that show, because of how many people
so cool.
Understood what the need could have been. And I think that's what is, we're artists, right? So we're excited about what's on the stage or what's in the exhibit or what concerts going on. Like there's that craft that we just have a commitment to, and we get excited about that. But if we're like really honest institutionally, what Woodstock Arts is about is like what keeps us up at night excited is what happens because of what was on stage. What's happening after the fact. Right. What's that cultural
byproduct
needle moving, right? And so when it's that communal effort where all of a sudden there's volunteerism around this need because there's a catalyst there through the arts, like that's why. So that's where partnerships really come into play, and that can happen in the for-profit arena. There's a lot of employment retention things that a lot of our sponsors are interested in. Of like, hey, we the tech industry is constant employment retention. So, hey, what perks can we give those employees from a sponsorship standpoint or meeting clientele, whatever it might be, building a vibrant community. But then there's also those kind of nonprofit needs also that we're partnering with, that where Arts is providing creative solutions along the way to help solve some of these broader community issues. So partnerships are key. And also we're artists, right? So there are things that we do well. There are also things that we don't do well, and we should get out of the way and let the partners, why not help those partners along the way? It can be mutual, right?
Delegate it, have them step in. That's awesome. All right. So last question here. When you think about Woodstock Arts' future and the impact, what do you envision?
I think that's one of what we talked about earlier. I mean, I think we feel a sense of responsibility to help other communities along the way too. What's interesting though is as we've had that kind of realization as we have matured, there's not a lot of multidisciplinary art centers that exist in small towns. Usually you'll have a theater or maybe even a separate theater and visual arts center, but you don't have one organization that's multidisciplinary in small towns. You usually have to go to Atlanta to see that, or DC or New York, major municipal areas. And so we feel a responsibility to help other small communities because we think we have a model that's unique and fun. But I think the other thing that we're noticing that's really cool to watch as we have grown is we at first sought out to import artists because we wanted to make sure our community had access to all of this excellent art that was out there in the world.
Yeah.
And we still do that. But now we're starting to see, because of our platform, because of the platform that the team has created, because of the local artists that are here, something like Small Town, Small Works, those initiatives, now we're starting to actually see some of our artists be exported to other communities. I think that just positions Woodstock as a leader in the arts. And I think it's just really fun to watch our artists succeed beyond. And that's not a Woodstock Arts solely thing, right? That's a vibrant community thing. But I think that is really fun to see some of our artists grow, and maybe sometimes through Woodstock Arts, maybe sometimes not. But now Woodstock as a whole becomes an exporter of art and artists. I think it's really fun to watch that growth.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is not what I thought you were going to say. That's really cool. And like, we're going to export artists, Tim. That's what we're going to do. That's great. Well, hey, so I really appreciate your time together. I love to sign off with gratitude, sharing something we're grateful for. I'll get started. What I'm grateful for is I'm going to come back to the Reeves house because this is a really special place to us. And you mentioned that, but like occasionally I will talk to Kanan, my daughter, and she, what you doing? Oh, I'm hanging out at the Reeves house. I got a drink. I'm sitting down, I'm reading, or I'm on my computer. And so like we've been bringing our family with us to the different things we're involved in at the Reeves house. And they found this space, and they like to, if they're hanging out in downtown Woodstock, to kind of sneak back to the Reeves house and just chill. So it's kind of this cool, it's an art exhibit. I can't call it a museum. It's an art exhibit, but it like doubles as this cool little coffee shop as well. That's just like super modern and welcoming, also with this kind of charming boutique feel. So grateful that you've helped the community create that space, not just for adults, but for our kids too.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks. In terms of what I'm grateful for, I will say I can't not say my wife. If we're going to do the things that we're going to do, the family's got to be right. And I've said 100 times over, maybe that's generic, but she is the cornerstone of our family. And awesome. I just got back from a trip to Durham, North Carolina to recruit artists, talking about importing, that we were recruiting artists, and the ship was smooth sails here back at home because she was just, I don't know.
Feels great.
I'm just really grateful.
Changes a lot when you've got that partner at home that's working out. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, folks, if you're listening here and you're thinking, man, I want to learn more about Woodstock Arts, is it woodstockarts.com?
Org. WoodstockArts.org.
Right, of course.
Yes.
We're the .coms and for-profits around here, people. The .orgs, woodstockarts.org.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want to get connected. Thanks again, Chris, so much for coming.
Appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, listeners. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Money Pig Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. To stay updated on new episodes, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you found value in today's discussion, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a rating and review. If you have any questions about the topics we covered, feel free to visit us at goodwininvestment.com and reach out. This episode is produced by evance.net. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, a solicitation to buy or sell any financial products, securities, digital assets, or other investment vehicles, nor as a basis for making any financial decisions. Goodwin Investment Advisory is a registered investment advisor with the SEC, CRD number 131193. Please note that the host and or guests may personally own securities, digital assets, or other investments mentioned in this podcast. Investments carry risk and are not guaranteed unless stated otherwise. We strongly recommend consulting with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, insurance professional, and/or legal professional before implementing any strategies discussed in this episode. Lastly, past performance is not indicative of future results.